I've done really well for myself in my career, and I'm ambitious, and it seems to be something that is like desired because it's like, I don't know, a prize to be won. But then once I actually open up in the dating world and like let someone in, then they get bored, or they don't see the value. And I was passed up on an opportunity this week as well. And then also the guy I was dating, it just, I guess, didn't work.
Viral attention for sharing her regrets about ditching the idea of marriage and family. Now, her article in Business Insider reads, quote, "I'm 38 and single, and I recently realized I want a child. I'm terrified that I've missed my opportunity." That woman's name is Melissa Persling, and she's revealing to Fox News Digital what she thinks caused her current situation. Listen.
I feel unbelievably betrayed by feminism. I was constantly fed this idea that women can do everything. We don't really need men. Women can have the great career and have the kids that they like and change the tires and do this. I mean, I grew up thinking, and men are great, but like I can do all the same things. I do feel in many ways betrayed by that line of thinking. I kind of want to go back to some of those teachers and coaches and say, what the hell did you mean by that? Because women can't do it all. We can't.
Katrina, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, I'm going to go deep here. So I have a lot of opinion on this, and I really think that feminism in some ways has really sabotaged women's happiness. And the reason I believe that is because we are asked to do all these different things, right? But then our nervous system goes whack. Like I know for myself, I'm in work mode and then mother mode and then family mode, right? And so your system just completely goes out of whack, which is why I truly believe, and I found this quote and I thought it was so telling, is that the divine feminine is the rawest, wildest, and most honest mirror a man will ever encounter. The awakened man opens his heart and goes to battle. He will tame his dragons and face his deepest shadows, since he knows that deep within, her heart will guide him home. And I think that there is a beautiful balance between the feminine and the masculine energy.
Some modern women are waking up to the realization that feminism sold them a dream, wrapped in regret. The same tired narrative keeps popping up. Feminism's "you go, girl" mantra of career and independence has left them stranded in the desolate wasteland of loneliness and missed opportunities. Let's break down this train wreck, shall we? Picture the middle-aged career woman who climbed the corporate ladder, only to find herself at the top with no one to share it with. Now she's drowning in regret, wishing she'd swapped a few boardroom hours for family dinners. It's the age-old tale of modern feminism. Prioritize career over relationships, then wonder where all the good men have gone. And then there's the blatant dismissal of traditional family roles. Mona Charan nailed it in Sex Matters when she pointed out feminism's narrow focus on independence and professional success. The movement conveniently ignored that family and mutual support bring a fulfillment you can't find in a corner office. But sure, let's keep pretending that endless Zoom calls and a Pinterest-perfect resume can replace the joy of a loving partner and children. Let's not forget the farce of sexual liberation. Feminism turned relationships into a no-strings-attached playground where men enjoy the perks of casual hookups without commitment. Why settle down when you can have the milk for free? The result? Women freezing their eggs, swiping through dating apps, hoping to find a unicorn willing to start a family.
Can someone tell me why it still hurts even when you're getting back into dating and you feel more mature? And you end things with someone after a couple of dates, and I've been on 3 dates recently, 3 dates with 3 different guys, but I've gone on second dates with all of them, second or third dates, and I ended it with one guy, the other guy ended it with me, but I was gonna end it with him anyway, so that was mutual. And this other guy, you just can tell he doesn't feel it, and I thought that because I'm more mature and because it's mutual, or because I'm making the decision, that it would be less hard and I would be less sad because it's early on and stuff. But I think when it's just stacked on top of each other, like, it adds up. Like, why am I crying? Like, does anybody else feel this way? Even just like when you feel like you're mostly healed and you're going back into dating, like, why does it still fucking hurt? I hate it out here.
So I know I said I wanted to take a break from dating, and I didn't need a man. I changed my mind. I'll take whoever. Just like get here ASAP. Please.
Are men unattracted to independent women? I was talking to my guy friend the other day. We're talking about just like independent women. I was telling him how one of my girlfriends, she's super independent. She does X, Y, and Z by herself. She's like such a bad bitch. And she doesn't need really anyone to count on. And he goes, let me guess. I bet you she is single. To that, I'm like, why? He's like, well, historically, men have always been, you know, the caregiver. Like, they usually have always been that breadwinner, right? Type sort of personality. And he goes, so that's why when women are too independent, they're too masculine and men find them unattractive. To that, I responded and I said, I think it's because 50% of men are average at best, okay? And as a woman raises her bar and, you know, she starts to provide herself that validation, she, you know, does these things for herself and she counts more on herself to become more independent, her bar raises, meaning that the men that can match her at that level are fewer men. And so that is why these more independent women, you know, are typically, I guess, more single based off of what he's saying, because they just haven't found someone to match them at that level yet. Maybe independent women don't like most of the men now.
The more successful a man becomes, the more dating options he has, because men are more than happy to date women who make less money than they do. But the more successful a woman becomes, the more her dating options start to shrink.
Spoiler, the pickings are slim. Feminism promised liberation, but delivered loneliness, regret, and the harsh truth that biology doesn't wait for your career goals. Bravo, feminism. You played the long con, and now a generation of women is paying the price. Remember the days of chivalry, when men were expected to protect women like knights in shining armor. Fast forward, and that concept has been tossed aside for gender equality. Some still cling to the romantic notion of men as protectors, but others are busy shouting, "I don't need no man," while secretly hoping one shows up when the dragon arrives. Mixed signals much? And let's dive into tubal ligation, the ultimate my body, my choice move. Except it's not just about snipping and calling it a day. It's a Pandora's box of social, emotional, and moral baggage. Women brave enough to go through with it face judgment and unsolicited opinions, as if their reproductive choices are public property. Society wants women to take control, but scrutinizes every step they take. Classic double standard. Now, on to dating, a chaotic mess where traditional gender roles are ancient history. Men are told to cry on cue, share feelings, and shed their stoicism, but don't overdo it, or you're emotionally immature. Women want vulnerability and strength, but can't decide which one they'll judge you for today. It's a tightrope walk of contradictions. Here we are, navigating this cultural shift where no one knows the rules. Everything's on the table, but nobody knows who's picking up the tab. Cheers to those braving this battlefield. You'll need it.
Feminism or low gas prices?
I guess low gas prices, because ever since the feminist movement, it's been a lot harder for me to find a guy to pay my bills. And all of a sudden I have to work and I have to do all these things. And I honestly don't want to work. I would rather stay in the kitchen. Mind you, I need some cooking classes, but I think I could take a couple cooking classes and make somebody really happy.
Your actions matter. This is what happens. You think, oh, it's fine, they just might not open the door for us because of all the raging feminists, but you can't act out. Society does change. There is such thing as social engineering. people change their behavior. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, women end up in a really bad situation. Like, she can't get anybody to help her up. Those dudes aren't checking for her. They're not even gonna look at her. They're gonna ignore her. Yeah, we need help. I don't know. It's just like nonstop. Like, let's stop acting out and let's act correct. And at least make the perception that we're not going to perpetuate negative behaviors. Come on. Like, set an example. Like, if you do see someone acting out, make sure to, like, respond accordingly. But luckily, a woman did come, rush over and help her up. But yeah, great point.
I'm gonna get called a pick me, I already know, but I don't care. Why is it that modern feminism just promotes this idea that absolutely nothing is a woman's fault ever? Even in her own life, her own choice. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's men. It's all men. And I get these comments all the time saying like, oh, you're shaming women because they got abused, or you're shaming women because they got, hurt by a man or whatever. You're shaming them like it's their fault. First of all, no, I'm not. It's not your fault that a man is evil and abusive. Okay, that's not your fault. You're not responsible for that. But you are responsible for yourself and the positions that you put yourself in. And me personally, if I was consistently choosing these absolute garbage men to date, marry, whatever it is, that are consistently abusing me, I think it's fair that you should self-reflect. Like, you can sit there all day long and go, men are horrible, men are trash, men are this. Okay, but is that helping you? Is that serving you? Is that mindset getting you anywhere? No. So instead, why don't you take a little responsibility, self-reflect, and evaluate, why is it that I keep choosing these horrible people? And then correct that. And do better for yourself and have a good life instead of whining and crying all the time that men are so horrible. Not all men are horrible. Not all women are good. But you can be good and you can make good choices. I don't know. I just feel like sitting here and telling women that nothing is their fault it's not helping anyone. It's just not. And I know there's people that are going to sit there and go, that's not what's happening. Is that what's happening with every single person in the world? No, I'm not addressing every single woman in the world. I'm addressing the ones who think this way, because there are women who think this way, and they live in my comment section. Every woman is capable of making better choices for herself. Don't be a victim. Don't waste your time sitting there blaming men for all your problems. Be smart, make good choices. You're capable. Do better for yourself.
Modern feminism's impact on dating? A full-blown circus act, complete with flaming hoops and clowns juggling double standards. On the surface, feminism empowers women to demand rights and upend traditional roles, cue applause. But dig deeper, and it's unleashed chaos in dating, leaving everyone scratching their heads about the rules. Take single mothers. Balancing kids and dating isn't easy, but the narrative of smashing stereotypes and finding real connections despite the odds feels more like a Hallmark ad than reality. Single moms navigate a dating pool where men aren't lining up to be stepdad of the year. Resilient? Sure, but let's not pretend their path is strewn with rose petals. Zoom out, and feminism's grand influence on dating reveals society's norms and personal choices clashing like a bad blind date. The old rules are gone, replaced by a confusing mix of do this and don't you dare. Want a provider? You're regressive. Want independence? You're intimidating. It's a game of emotional tug-of-war where no one wins. Empathy and understanding? Great in theory, but good luck finding them in the wild. Everyone's too busy debating who pays for dinner or whether holding the door is sexist. Modern dating is less about connection and more about dodging ideological landmines. Exhausted? You will be. The debates are far from over, and the journey? One bumpy ride through the minefield of modern romance.
And that concludes today's discussion on MGTOW voice. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on future videos. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video.